So the monitor gave you orders to JRB Fort Worth. Well, in this video, we're going to tell you all about the surrounding cities to the base, so that way you can find out where you get the most bang for your buck when you put your BAH on the line. And if you stick around to the end, we're going to let you know about a little watering hole where you can get your drink on.
If it's your first time on the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be the very first to know what's going on in the Dallas-Fort Worth real estate market, go ahead and ring that bell. Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. My name is Tom Jung.
And I'm Jack Lisenby.
And we're your local Dallas-Fort Worth real estate agents. If you are in the market, whether you're a few days, a few months out, we get phone calls every day from folks just like you. So don't hesitate to reach out, call, text, email, or use that link in the YouTube banner to schedule a Zoom call. So anyways, we're going to be talking about all military stuff today.
Yeah, we have, for anyone who may be finding this video through other means, we have a very large, relatively large military base here called JRB Fort Worth, which stands for Joint Reserve Base. It's a naval air station, so you'll hear people say NAS JRB and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's right next to Lockheed Martin.
Mm-hmm.
So if you, maybe you're a Lockheed Martin employee and you're looking for places nearby.
Prospecting for recruits.
Yeah, our channel is all about finding the right place to live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So, so we'll have, I think, another video on this topic as well, because there are quite a few neighborhoods right around that area. But who's kicking this off first?
So I guess I can kick it off first. So the base itself is actually in Westworth Village, which is another small sister city inside of Fort Worth. It's located in the northwest corner of the Loop 820, which is the loop highway that goes around Fort Worth as a whole. But
and we're not going to be talking about that city today.
Yeah, no, we've got a different video for that, so go check that out. But the first city we're actually going to talk about is a small little city to the northeast called River Oaks. So that main road that goes directly in front of JRB Fort Worth, if you take that east and follow it down, you're going to go to a city called River Oaks. It's about 5-10 minutes at most from the main gate. Lockheed Martin's about 10-15 minutes from there. Downtown Fort Worth's only about 15 minutes. And then the DFW Airport, if you keep heading east to the HEB area, is about a half-hour drive from River Oaks. It's a really quiet community that basically centers itself around the main road there. I think it's just called River Oaks Drive or something like that.
Classic.
It changes names like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So at some point it's 28th Street, it's a main street at one point, but it's a quiet little town. It's an older neighborhood, plenty of trees. They've got like a bunch of mom and pops and smaller shops along the road there. But as you get away from the main road, the arteries of the neighborhood roadways just kind of dissipate into very residential areas. So all in all, very quiet. Everything that you need is right up and down the main road there. Really nice area. The schools themselves in that area, though, we're going to preface this. If you're bringing kiddos along with you, maybe see if you can find an on-base school program if they offer it there. Otherwise, Fort Worth ISD is not exactly the greatest. It's about average, honestly.
Oh, this is the Castleberry ISD.
Yeah.
It's
I'm sorry. Yeah. Castleberry ISD. So yeah, see, it doesn't get better from there. So Castleberry ISD is a small ISD inside of Fort Worth ISD. Is kind of like a little island inside the other school district, but they only have a few schools. So the ones for River Oaks are going to be Castleberry Elementary School. And by the way, we use niche.com for all of our school ratings. Niche has rated Castleberry Elementary School at a C+. The Marshall Middle School is going to be your middle school in the area. That is C rated. And Castleberry High School actually makes a jump up to a B-, according to niche.com.
Nice.
But as far as like the type of housing that they offer in the area, most of your stuff is going to be between like 700 to 1,500 square feet. So they're going to be older, smaller bungalow style houses, which is pretty typical here in Fort Worth. They are kind of pocketed and scattered throughout. They're going to be from about 150 to 300,000, so very affordable. They may just need a little bit of elbow grease to get them looking right, but we have enough people who do flips and remodels in the area that you're likely to find some that still have some modern touches. Some of the newer homes are going to run you about 300,000 to 400,000, but you are getting a lot more square footage there too, because they usually go between 15 to 2,200, but on average you're looking at about 1,800 to 1,900 square feet for most of those places.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing with River Oaks is like it's just less expensive.
Yeah, really. I mean, there's not a ton to draw people to River Oaks. Most people just go there to live and then they go work elsewhere, so they're not bringing a ton of money into the area, which means that it keeps the overall cost down.
Yeah, and the other thing too is just like I've noticed that so a lot of these were stick frames back in the day. A lot of them still are that haven't been knocked down and rebuilt. But I've noticed on quite a few that there's like no dishwasher or there's no.
Yeah, because they were so old, like they didn't have dishwashers back then.
Yeah. So that's something that you'll probably run across if you're looking in that area. But apart from that, it is like you said, very peaceful, very quiet once you get back up in there. Cool. Next one we got on the list is Western Hills. So this is just south of 30, and a lot of people enjoy this neighborhood because you've got the bricked home. It's just like a lot of these are going to be one-story homes, and they're on a little bit more land that you're going to see and with like new builds nowadays. But it's a pretty decent location. I would say the only drawback is there is a lot of there's like you have Camp Bowie that runs through kind of the middle of this, which has a bunch of commercial stuff like tire shops and I don't know, just different types
General
of
industry.
Yeah. And then right along 30, kind of the same thing. There's not like a really nice shopping area. Like further up, Camp Bowie is nice as far as shopping goes, but right there, kind of in that location, not a ton of great stuff. And then you've got a bunch of apartments and duplexes, I think, just on the north side of 30. So anyways, as far as the location goes, you are going to be 10 to 15 minutes from the base, 10 to 15 minutes from Lockheed. You're 10 to 15 minutes to downtown and about 35 minutes to the DFW Airport. So like I mentioned, it's quick to anywhere. As far as schools go, this is Fort Worth ISD, which is not really a step up from River Oaks, the Castleberry ISD, it looks like. So you got Waverly Park Elementary School, which is rated C+. You have Leonard Middle School at a C-, and then Western Hills High School at a B-. So not great there either. I will mention that there is a new charter school that has gone up. It is just outside the 820 loop. So from Western Hills, probably 10 to 15 minutes. So there's a charter school called the Uplift Elevate Preparatory. There are no ratings yet of that. I think it just opened up last year. So that would be an option if you do end up in one of these locations. And let's see, apart from that, like I mentioned before, a lot of these were built in the 1960s. You're going to find, for the most part, 1950s to 1980s. They're going to be bricked homes, and 1,500 to 1,800 square feet is going to be the most common. That's going to run you 200 to 350,000. So all things considered, that's below the average in Fort Worth as far as home prices go. And then there are some larger homes in here. There's some newer homes and that sort of thing, but for the most part, that 2 to 350 is going to be a bulk of those homes.
I was going to say another cool draw of that area, since you're in like the southwest portion of Fort Worth, you're not too far from like Benbrook Lake and all that.
That's true.
And
yeah,
all the golf clubs and
there's
courses
a
they have
range
over
there too. In there,
I believe there is.
Benbrook?
Yeah, there's a skeet shoot range for Defender Outdoors. That's where they have their range at is set up over there.
And they also have a indoor one near downtown or West 7th area. So.
Yeah,
but.
Yeah, and the third one we're actually going to talk about today, because we just have so many of them, is right next door to the base, like almost literally. So it's called Ridgmar, and there's actually a mall called Ridgmar right at the end of the street there next to the base. It's just on the other side of that, fittingly. But this neighborhood, the big draw for this one really is just the base, because you are smack dab right next to Lockheed Martin and JRB Fort Worth. So if you do any sort of liaison work with the military members there, and you work with like Lockheed or any of them, it's honestly a great spot, and you see a lot of the people from the factories working or living in that area. But it's 5 minutes from the JRB. You've got Lockheed at about 8 minutes. Downtown's only 10 minutes because you're even closer to the road, and the DFW Airport's about 35 minutes again because you're right next to 30. It's I believe Fort Worth ISD. Yeah, so you've got Arlington Heights High School. So your elementary school is going to be M.L. Phillips Elementary School. Niche rates that at at a C. Your Monning Middle School is C as well. And then lastly, we've got Arlington Heights High School, which is a B, which is decent for Fort Worth. Actually, Arlington Heights High School is one of the better ones in Fort Worth. So you're not you're not as worse off as you could be.
Yeah.
As far as the houses themselves go, it's a slightly older neighborhood, so most of the houses are going to be around like the 60s. You're going to see some stuff like late mid-century. 2,000 to 3,000 square feet is about what you're going to see. So these are like those bigger low-rise houses, the long bricks.
Kind of like a ranch style, I guess.
Like a ranch-style house. Single story, they're going to be about 350 to maybe 500,000 depending on the size of the house and the lot, and they sit on about a third of an acre because they like to have those big front yards back then.
Yeah.
But honestly, they're nice houses. They hold up really well. We've got plenty of them throughout Fort Worth, and some of them have lasted almost 80 years at this point with no problems.
Yeah.
But
one of the things that we didn't cover, that main road, is it 377 that comes up through there with all the shopping?
Benbrook?
Yeah, with the Ridgmar Mall. Yeah, so there's with any of these neighborhoods, you're real close to all the like shopping that you're gonna need. So they've got a Target over there. There's a bunch of fast food. There's Chick-fil-A, Panda Express, Chipotle, like all that kind of stuff. So you're close to all that kind of shopping. As far as like higher end shopping, Clear Fork's not far away. There's good food and all that everywhere around. But
I will say the Ridgmar and Western Hills are much more residential. There's a little bit of industry in River Oaks, but if you guys want to find out what's really like around the base area, there's a bunch of shopping centers and stuff like that, and we go into a lot greater detail. Go check out our Westworth Village video. It's going to tell you a lot more about what's actually out there.
Yeah. And since you stuck around to the end, Jack's got some insight on a watering hole.
Yeah, so there's a little bar out there because I know military members, they only do two things. They run and drink. So whenever you're not PTing, when you want to go, wet your whistle, there's a local place that a lot of people won't tell you about because it's just so small, but it's definitely a labor of love from the local community called McFly's Pub. McFly, like the, Marty McFly from Back to the Future.
Oh, nice.
Everything in there, it has like some touch of that in there. I'm not saying it's not like Disneyed out where it's like everything's Back to the Future, but there's a bunch of memorabilia and stuff like that. Cool. It's one of those bars where they take stuff that they love and they hang it up in the bar. So you've got all these weird paraphernalia and stuff like guitars and t-shirts and things from like famous people or famous situations, and like everyone there knows each other. They don't serve food, but they get pizza delivered there so often and like food delivered that like Uber Eats knows to drop off there. It's strictly like a drinking bar, but my buddy actually from the gym showed me, he invited me there one time, and it was a great time. Like everyone knew each other. It was like Cheers almost. They didn't know me, so like everyone came and talked to me and everything because I was a new guy there.
Yeah,
really really cool community. I highly suggest it if you want to get your networking in the area because maybe you don't know much about Fort Worth or the people. That's definitely where you want to hit it up. So
everybody walks in, everybody's like Norm.
Yeah, hey. Except his name's Garrett. Yeah.
Nice. Well, cool. Hopefully this helped. We forgot to mention, if you are moving in this direction, hit us up in the comments. Let us know where you're coming from. And we'd love to help if you are making this move. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And as always, if you're looking to buy or sell, remember to keep calm, call Tom.